Yo, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's like not even 7:30 yet. It's like 7:20. So excuse the bonnet, just out of freaking mad. But I want to do a video for you guys today because this thought was in the head. So I want to talk about it. We're over on the second account. This is what the second account's team looking like right now. I'm trying to do some evos on it. As I always say, the second account is generally an account where I do evil testing. But if I do pack certain cards, I'm okay with doing reviews on this account because if I don't pack the cards on the main account, I'm gonna pack them on the second account, might as well. So if you do want to see a Chawinga review, let me know in the comment section below and I will do a video for Chawinga. But today's video is about formations, more so it's about Zwayback. Recently in his Wayback stream, he got a lot of flack from his chat because, first off, understand when it comes to this Wayback, people don't like when Zway succeeds. For a lot of people in the FC community, they view Zwayback as the lovable buffoon who they love to see fail because he doesn't play the game the way that they do. Zway is more or less a passion merchant, not as much as say like me or some other people, but he's more or less a passion merchant. And for a lot of the times when he does his videos or he does his streams, he does it with teams that people call SVC teams, aka teams that are just not good enough for the meta or not good enough for his rank tier. Because Wayback is someone who repeatedly gets elite division, Div 1 and Div 2. So for a lot of people who are also Div 2 or Div 3 or even Div 4, you understand like where the brackets are for player ratings. If you are a Div 5 player, you are slightly above average. The average player base is in Div 7 and Div 6. So if you're Div 5, you're slightly above average. If you're Div 4, you're a good player. If you're Div 3, you're a very good player. If you're Div 2, you're a great player, and so on. Elite is self-explanatory. It's called elite. You are an elite player. So for a lot of people who watch this Wayback or plays this game, they don't see him as an elite player. They don't see him as a Div 1 player. They don't even see him as a Div 2 player. They see him pretty much as a Div 4 or a Div 3 player because of how he plays the game, the things he complains about, and as well the squads that he tends to use. So they hate seeing him succeed. Recently, Zway had a very, very good weekend league, and he had a good weekend league using this formation, the 4-2-1-3. And the 4-2-1-3 has been pretty much the topic of the community when it comes to formations. If you watch my videos, I hate it. I think it's I don't hate it in the sense that the formation itself is bad. I hate it because I just hate I hate seeing the same things over and over again. Like, for those who know, I played this formation before it was popular, not in the sense of like, oh, look at me. Like, no, it was just I was looking for a formation that had wingers and had DMs because I love the 4-2-3-1. So I started playing the 4-2-1-3 back during like Thunderstruck before it was popular. And that was just me just testing out formations and then trying to find one that fits my squad. But lately it's become like the formation. Everyone's using it. 90% of the community is using the formation. If you play 10 games of rivals, you're going to see 8 freaking 4-2-1-3s. You play your 15 weekend league games, you're going to see freaking 13 4-2-1-3s. So people calling Zway a rat. And Zway being the defensive buffoon that he is, because he tries to be the good guy. So he wanted to defend himself, and he's like, the community doesn't know what rat means anymore. The term rat has lost its meaning, yada yada yada. And you can't say that. You can't say the word rat has become overused. But I don't think the term rat, when it refers to this formation, is wrong. I think Zway just wanted to defend himself because a lot of people was giving him shit, and he just wanted to defend himself. So he asked the question: does playing a formation make you a rat? Or is it how you play the formation that makes you a rat? And it's a good question because when I played a 4-2-1-3, way back when, it wasn't used in a ratty way. The way that I played it was very attacking. Like, I had one player on holding, then I had deep line playmaker on build up, and I had shadow striker, and then both my fullbacks were on freaking wingback. Except one person. I don't remember who I had on the squad, but I think I had one person on attacking wingback. Then I had freaking, I had poacher on my striker. Then I had, inside forward roaming on the two wings. So it was a very, very attacking formation. But lately, what's the meta? The meta is fullbacks on defend. Then you have like deep left playmaker build up, 95 depth. So, the DMs are basically, kind of just being compensated by having that high line. Your center backs compensate for the space that your DMs are leaving. You have advanced forward, and then the same thing. So this way, he's like, it's not the formation that are ratty. It's how it's the tactics that make them ratty. That was Wade's comment. It's not the formation that's ratty. It's the tactics that make the formation ratty. And to an extent, he's right. And to an extent, the 4-2-1-3 is naturally a ratty formation. Now, where I would defend Zway is you can make any formation ratty. It says before in some older videos that I've played the 4-1-4-1. When I say play, I played against. I played against the 4-1-4-1. I played against the 4-4-1-1. And I played against the 4-5-1, where the entire midfield comes back on defense. What that means is I'm basically playing against 8 backs. People talk about the 4-2-1-3 being a 6-back because your 2 DMs are very defensive. So you kind of have 6 people back on defense. I've played against people using the 4-4-1-1 and the 4-5-1 and the 4-4-1, where that's exactly what their midfield does. Every single midfielder, including the right mids and left mids, are back on defense. That's ratty. If the thought process of what is ratty is, it's just too much defense. Playing too much defense is ratty, then that's also ratty. So to an extent, Zoe's right. You choose to make the formations very defensive. You choose tactics, and with those tactics, you have your build up play, and you have your depth. You choose what those are that lead to the tactics being as ratty as they are. But also, ratty isn't just your tactics and not just your formation. It's also how you play the game. If all you're doing is running down the line with your pace demons and then doing cutbacks, that's ratty. If all you're doing is running down the line and then doing a whip pass to a striker, that's ratty. If all you're doing is running to the freaking box, to the edge of the box, doing a trivela, that's kind of ratty. I say kind of because that is more of a skill thing than say a cutback is or what pass is, because you do need to know where the angles are for trivela. If you're good with it, then you will just spam it. But at the same time, while saying that, I know it sounds like I'm kind of like just being very defensive of Zway. So with all of that said, Zwayback is correct about, in my opinion, he's correct that how you play the game is what makes you ratty, not just initially using certain players, and not just initially doing a certain formation. It's the tactics of how you play the game. But I'll also say this: Zway, he's kind of a hypocrite in the sense where he only gets into these moments where he defends things when he gets attacked, because he himself doesn't want to be seen as ratty. But he is. It's kind of the thing about it. Zway is indeed, he has rat tendencies. He has his whole little time wasting gimmick, the spider twine banana. That's rat. If you're time wasting, you are being a rat. It doesn't matter if it's something that happens in real life. It's ratty to time waste. He also used to be someone who just spam freaking crosses for to the striker for header goals. That's ratty Zway. Zway has rat tendencies, and I'm not saying he himself is actually a rat, but he has rat tendencies. But also Zway, the thing it has with Zway is this: he complains about the same thing we all complain about until he does it. When he does it, it's okay, but when everybody else does it, it's ratty. For example, keeper movement. Much like Inception and myself, Zway thinks keeper movement is something that should be removed from the game. Zway moves its keeper. So it's when he does it, his excuse is, I don't do it a lot, so it's okay for me to do it. It's like, no, if you do it, you do it. There's no excuse to the doing it. You can't complain on something while also doing that thing. For example, like I can't sit here in my videos and say this formation, is an irritation because everyone's using it, and then go into rivals and then use this exact formation. I can't complain about it if I'm using it. That's not how anything works. You can't complain about something while also taking part and being the reason people are playing it. Because if I take this squad into rivals with this formation and I cook somebody who's not using this formation, what they're gonna do? And I go, well, shit, I just played the 4-2-1-3. And they're gonna go cook somebody. They're gonna be like, oh shit, I should play in 4213. So that's how you get people who are all playing the exact same formation. It's not just people going to YouTube and seeing it. It's they losing the game and they're like, okay, well, I need to play the formation that I just lost to. So going back into talking about the formation itself, and is the formation itself ratty? This formation isn't that different from the 4231. Want to know why back in November I used the formation? Because I played the 4231 a lot, but I wanted wingers. The difference between this formation and a 4-3-1 is generally the placement of your wingers. In a 4-2-3-1, the wingers are further back. So let's go into it. So here you got the 4-2-3-1. If you look at the 4-2-3-1, go ahead and back out a little bit. You immediately notice the exact difference between this formation and a 4-2-1-3. Your wingers become midfielders and they're further back. Your cam is also further back, and your DMs are also more tucked in between your fullbacks and your center backs. So it's kind of a more defensive formation than a 4-2-1-3 if you think about it, because your placement of your cam being further back, everyone's basically further back in a 4-2-3-1. I wanted something else more attacking, so back in November I switched to the 4-2-1-3 because in my brain this is more attacking than a 4-2-3-1. Because not only do you have wingers, which is easier for roles, because certain players that I have don't play as midfielders. So now they're further pushed up. At the same time, that middle cam is also further pushed up, and the DMs are tighter together, but they're also pushed up. So it just my brain just thought of it as being a more attacking formation. The thing about it is this: it's so easy for the 4-2-1-3 to transition to where it becomes an insane defensive tactic. It's a counterattack tactic. So basically it's hard to freaking play against it defensively, but it's easy for it to attack because it's a counterattack. It's naturally a counterattack formation. Think about like the 4-2-4. The 4-2-4 is a natural press formation. If you play the 4-2-4, it's very press heavy. Even IRL, they'll tell you 4-2-4 is all about the press. It's naturally a high line. It's naturally high pressing. The 4-2-3-1 is very defensive. It's basically the exact same formation. It's a formation where there's one cam, one striker, two wingers, and two DMs. The difference is those wingers are further back than it will be in a 4-2-1-3. Is it ratty to play this formation? It's basically the same formation. It's just works in slightly different way, but it's basically the exact same formation. So why is it ready to play the 4-2-1-3 but not ready to play this when it's damn near the same formation? And that's something that you guys to me as well. Like if you watch my videos and I'm complain about the 4-2-1-3, you see me playing the 4-2-3-1, you be like, hey, well, why are you playing the 4-2-1-3 when you're playing the exact formation but a little bit more defensive? And that goes to what I said before. I don't hate the 4-2-1-3. I just hate seeing it a lot. That's pretty much who I am and what I am. I don't hate certain players in the game when it comes to like the meta players. I hate seeing them a lot. And that's the same thing when it comes to just the meta itself. I just hate seeing the same things over and over and over and over again. I had a video on this channel where I talked about that. I was like, I think it's titled Bored. And the entire video is about not the game itself, but just being bored with what I'm facing. And I think that's fair. I think it's fair to complain about being bored of facing the same formation over and over again. I think it's fair to complain about facing the exact same squads over and over again. But I do think it's hypocritical to play the same formations while also complaining about those formations, while also complaining about tactics, and then doing those same tactics. Moral of the story, Zoe is right and wrong at the exact same time. He is right that the tactics make the formation ratty, not the formation itself. It's how you play the game that makes things ratty, not the game itself. But at the same time, he's also wrong because some formations are naturally a certain way, and he himself does ratty things, regardless of the fact that he thinks he's not being ratty. They are ratty things. And to quote Inception, every single one of us who plays this game has something about us that is kind of ratty. That's just the nature of the beast. So before, me, I'm a passion merchant that is kind of ratty. I'm also a finesse shop merchant. That's kind of ratty. You know, the idea of something being ratty is more so just abusing something that is known to be strong. That's kind of like what you can piece together as a rat being. Abusing something that is known to be strong. I know finesse shots are strong. I spam them. That's kind of ratty. You know, everyone, again, what is it? I think what was he said in the last game? I think in S24, Inception said everyone who plays this game, including itself, is at least 60% rat. And to an extent, it's true, because in order to freaking maintain, you know, some form of success in this game, you gotta be ratty. If you want to get past freaking Div 5, you gotta have a little bit of rat tendency. That's why there's people who've been playing this game freaking 10 years and have not got out of freaking Div 7. Because they don't know how to be a rat. But anyways, that is it for me. This will just be a discussion video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Again, as I said before, if you want to see a Chewinga video, put it in the comment section below. You know, whether it's one person, 10 people, doesn't matter who. Just say, you know, Chewinga, and I will do freaking a Chewinga review. Otherwise, she'll just be sitting on this account collecting dust. But I mean, when AnubisArchangel, see you guys out of here. Whoever see you all day, stay safe. Deuces.